Week 1 of the college football season is about a week away now, and to celebrate this, I wanted to do a quick little Michigan football season preview, and we're going to go through the roster, and we're going to take a look at the schedule as well, and I'm going to predict how Michigan season is going to go, and I also want you guys to go down and comment how you think their season is going to go, and if you think they can go back to back and win a national championship. Also, make sure to like, comment, and then subscribe, obviously. And I will start by saying this. I'm a Michigan State fan, all right? Now, I'm a very neutral Michigan State fan. I'm a huge State fan. I hate Michigan, all that, but, I'm not delusional, right? I knew Michigan was one of the best teams in the country last year. I knew they were probably going to compete for a national championship, and they did, and they won it. Now, I'm not going to trash on Michigan at all this video because I respect the hell out of them. They just won a national championship. I can't say anything, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to start by just kind of going through the roster. And, like I said, I'm very neutral. I'm not a bandwagon, anything like that. So you can trust me, all right? Now, if you disagree with anything, let me know in the comments. If you do agree with anything, also let me know in the comments. I would love to hear something you agree with and something you disagree with. Let's go ahead and take a look at the roster. Now, when I look at the Michigan football roster, especially on the offensive side, I've got a few questions, all right? The quarterback spot. That's my number one question with this team. If J.J. McCarthy was still here, I think they would be probably back in the national championship. Now, Alex Orji, we don't really know with him, right? Davis Warren, we don't really know with him either, right? I think those are their top two guys. Correct me if I'm wrong. It sounds like Orji's probably going to get the start. He's a freak athlete. He reminds me a lot of Jalen Milroe. If he can get a good arm, if he can throw the ball downfield, Michigan is going to be in for a great season. Now, I don't know if this is going to happen because he's only played in a few games and he mostly just runs the ball. So, and again, he could get injured. If Davis Warren isn't great, then you never know. But overall, when I look at the quarterback spot, that's my biggest question. Now, you look at the receiver spot. Michigan's never really had great receivers, right? They didn't have great receivers last year. You had Cornelius and you had Roman Wilson as your top two guys. And let's be honest, Roman Wilson was a second-round pick, sure. But overall, it's a pretty mid-receiving core for a national championship contending team. But Michigan doesn't need stuff like that because you have guys like Donovan Edwards in the backfield, one of my favorite players in the country. You got one of the best offensive lines in the country and probably one of the top 3 tight ends in Colston Loveland, who's going to be a first-round pick this year. So when you look at it like that, this offense isn't as bad as what it looks like. And the receivers always step up and become great role players. It's all going to come down to the quarterback spot, in my opinion. If Davis Warren or Alex Orji are able to step up, I think Michigan's probably going to be back and contending for a national championship. Now, the defensive side of the ball, this is where you got most of the talent, right? I mean, you look at the big 3, right? Will Johnson, Kenneth Grant, Mason Graham. All 3 are going to be first-round picks this year. All 3 could go top 10. And I bet 2 of the 3, maybe at least 1 of the 3, maybe 2 of the 3 go top 5. I mean, you're talking about probably the best defensive trio in the entire country. D-line's looking great. Linebacker room's solid. Not great, but it's good. Cornerback room is amazing. Your safety room, you did lose Rod Moore, I believe, on a season-ending injury. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I do believe they have some good depth there, and they're going to be fine at safety, as they always are. I mean, you look at the roster, it's pretty similar to last year's. Maybe, you lost a little bit of talent. If your O-line regenerates as it always does, I don't think they're going to have anything to worry about. So, overall, I like the roster. It's like a 9.5, 9.5 out of 10. And I think that it is good enough to get them back to the playoff, especially with a 12-team playoff this year. Let's go ahead and let's take a look at that schedule. Starting at home against Fresno State, this is an easy win, a nice way to start out the season. At home, getting a nice big win over Fresno State and probably win by like 27. Week 2, home against Texas. Now, this is probably one of I'd say my number 1 game I'm looking forward to in the college football season because of what's at stake. You're going to get to see whether or not Michigan is a national championship contender. Now, again, this is week 2 of the season. This, come week 11 or 12, this game could mean nothing. But it's going to be a good look to see how Michigan is going to do throughout that middle portion of the season. End of the season, they could totally, change, get better, get worse, whatever. But I do think that this game right here is going to determine a lot about this Michigan team. If they win, I think they're 100% going to be right back contending for a national championship. If they lose, if it's close, I still think they're a playoff team. Now, if they lose big, I don't think that they're going to be in the playoffs. So you can't compete at home against one of the better teams in the country, I don't think that you're going to be long in the playoffs. So I look at this game, a lot at stake. Now, I'm going to take Texas by just a couple points. I think it's going to be like a 3 or 4 point win. I think Michigan's offense is going to fail to get down the field to end the game, and I think Texas comes out on top by just a couple points. Heading into the third game, Arkansas State, obviously a blowout win for Michigan. Then the next game is home against USC. I'm going to take Michigan here. I think it's going to be like a 7-point game, maybe 5 to 7 points. But Michigan's going to get it done at home against USC, who's a solid team. If it was in USC, it'd be a big difference. But at home, I think they're going to get it done. Home against Minnesota. I mean, starting the season with 5 home games, by the way. Well, home against Minnesota, another win. This should be a pretty easy one by 20 to 21 points. At Washington, this is probably, a bit of a, I don't know like how to describe it, just a tough game, really. At Washington, I mean, any team that goes out west from the Big Ten is going to struggle, right? Same with, West teams coming to the East. It's kind of how it goes. But I think Washington, I think Michigan's going to pull this win off, probably by 7 to 10 points. Washington lost so much talent and their head coach. I don't think they're going to be back quite yet. At Illinois for their next game, I got them winning this game as well. This could be another upset game, but I do think Michigan's going to come out on top. And then home against Michigan State, I do think Michigan State's going to keep it a little closer than last year, but I got Michigan probably winning by 10 to 13. Michigan State's going to, keep it in there and probably score late and make it closer, but I do think Michigan will win. Now, you never know. Rivalry games, you never know, right? Now, home against Oregon. Here we go. I got Oregon winning this one by 10. I think that Oregon is probably, they're ranked number 3 for a reason. They got one of the most talented rosters. I think they're going to win this game and I think they're going to be ranked number 1 by the end of the season, to be honest with you, or at least top 3. I'm going to take Oregon in this one to hand Michigan their second loss. Now, at Indiana, I do have Michigan winning this one as well, by quite a bit probably. I don't think Indiana's going to be very good. And then home against Northwestern, another easy win, coming off of a bye as well. It's going to be an easy win, probably by like 30 points. And then to end the season at Ohio State, and this one is going to be where Michigan fans are probably going to be a little upset with me, but I think Ohio State's going to get the revenge finally. Now, it would be kind of funny to see Michigan beat them 4 years in a row. I would be totally fine with that. But I do think Michigan is going to lose this game by, 3 or 4. Now, Michigan's going to end the season 9-3. Now, I'm 50-50 on whether or not they're going to win a game home against Texas, home against Oregon, or at Ohio State. I do think there's a 50-50 chance they win one of those 3 and go 10-2. Now, if they go 10-2, they're for sure in the playoff. If they go 9-3, I think there's a 60 to 70% chance that they make the playoff as a 11 or 12 seed. If you have a 12 seed Tulane, who's like 11-1, I think they'll favor a 9-3 Michigan with that schedule over them and put them in, especially coming off of a national championship last year. You never know what's going to happen. But I do think that Michigan will probably be 9-3, and I'm going to predict them making the playoff. I think they're going to get in as that 11 or 12 seed, probably play a 5 or 6 seed, and I do think they're going to lose in the first round. Now, go down in the comments, let me know what you think of that prediction. Do you think that Michigan has a shot at the playoffs? And if they do, how far you think they're going to make it? It's going to be a bit different this year because there's going to be 4 total rounds. Michigan would have to win 4 games to win a national championship in the playoff. So I do think they're going to probably lose to a 5 seed though, and end up ending the season 9-4, and it's a great season. 9-3, and coming off a national championship, losing a ton of talent, you make it back to the playoff. It's all you want to see, and I know you want to see another national championship, but it's good enough. And then heading into the next season, they're going to restack on talent and probably be right back there. So overall, Michigan's going to go 9-3, and they're going to lose, I think, in the first, maybe second round of the playoff. I do think there's a good chance they go 10-2 as well. Let me know what you think of my prediction. Let me know what your prediction is as well. I want to hear them. I do appreciate you guys watching. Thank you for listening to me ramble. I love talking about sports, and I'm going to have a Michigan State one coming out here in the next couple days as well. And again, thanks for watching, and I hope you guys have a great day. Peace.